Hi, everybody. This is Dave Snyder from David A. Snyder CPA. This is the Prescott Sunrise Lions Show presented by the Prescott Media Center at the Prescott Armory. Again, I'm David A. Snyder CPA, MBA, EA. With David A. Snyder CPA, I'm a member of the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club. Please go to PrescottSunriseLionsClub.org to see the projects we participate in, and come to our meeting every Thursday at 7 a.m. at Waffles and More. We are still in tax credit season. This is the March program, so we are still in tax season, and you can give tax credits up to April 15th for the 4 tax credit programs that I'm going to describe. The tax credit programs are the school tuition, which you can give $2,213 married filing jointly, and $1,107 other statuses to schools like Primavera, and Sacred Heart and Orem School, those kind of schools that you can give, they're private schools, you can give $2,213 and $1,107. Public schools, you can give $400 and $200, $400 married filing jointly and $200 other statuses to these public schools in the area. Now, the reason there's such a disparity between those two is because the state funds the public schools where the state does not fund the private schools, so they get a bigger chunk. Then there's foster care, which is $1,000 married filing jointly and $500 other statuses. That's a place like Casa for Kids, those kind of programs. They do a lot of good deal. We've done a program with Casa for Kids, with a member from the Casa for Kids Foundation. And also, let me go to, I also want to emphasize for the public schools, Tri-City, because my son goes there. So little self-serving in there. And then the fourth one that you can still participate in through April 15th of 2019 for 2018 is a charitable organization tax credit, which is $800 married filing jointly and $400 other statuses. Now, there's a lot of programs for charitable organization, but of course I'm with the Prescott Sunrise Lions, so please contribute to the Prescott Sunrise Lions Foundation, $800 or $400 depending on your status. And that would be really helpful to places that we give money to, like the school tuition. I'm sorry, like Sight and Hearing, which is one of our biggest planks of the Lions Club, as well as we give the YEI. We give to a lot of different programs in the area, and we even give to Boys to Men. We give to what is that? We give the Greatest Need. A couple of years ago, we got scanners for the Yavapai school nurses, so they can go around to Yavapai schools and scan kids' eyes in first and second grade. Make sure they don't need to go to an eye doctor. Make sure they're learning well. So that's Greatest Need money. There's a lot of other programs we can utilize to we utilize to take the money from and give back to the community. So it's really helpful. And so instead of paying taxes to the state, use these tax credits to eliminate or lower your tax credits. For example, if you owed $2,000 to the state and you paid in $2,000, you would owe $0 and you get your withholdings back. If you owed $2,000 and you paid in $3,000, then you carry forward that extra $1,000 up to 5 years on your Arizona tax return. So make sure you use these. Only 10% of the people in Arizona use these that are eligible, and you really need to use them, because why give it to something that you can't control? You can control who you give to, as opposed to giving it to the state and they waste it on whoever they want to waste it on. And they used to help you with the federal tax programs too, but that has been taken away as of August 27th of 2018. And although it might be litigated, I don't know if there's going to be any retroactive litigation that would help that for this year. So give the tax credits, Lions Club, the schools, public schools, private schools, as well as Casa for Kids for foster care, and that will really help you, and it'll help you help the community. Also, in March 6th, our Lions Club has been Our Lions Club has existed from 1961. In 1962, we started this program called the 4.0 Dinner for kids that had a 4.0 all through high school. We started out small. We had a breakfast. Now it's a dinner. And now we've expanded from just Prescott High and Bradshaw High. Now we've expanded to Chino, and in the future we're expecting to expand through all the high schools in the area. So our Lions Club has been doing it again for over 50 years. It's a really good program. It really helps a lot of kids, and it really acknowledges their great help to the community, as well as their great educational prowess. So come become a Lion, and you can go to a 4.0 dinner, or get your kid through the 4.0 dinner by getting them a 4.0. You know, have them learn, push them. That's what I do. Actually, they push themselves. Okay, our guest today is Gary Denton, owner of Amco Transmission and Total Car Care, but today is here in the capacity of the founder of the Wheel of Freedom Project. Thank you for being here, Gary.
Thank you, David.
All right, so please tell us a little about yourself. What brought you to Prescott Valley?
Moved here about 3.5 years ago, my wife and I. We moved from Phoenix, and our big goal basically was we wanted to move to a smaller town. We wanted to move to a place where we could actually be part of the community and give back. And in Phoenix, you know, it's you can still do that there, but it's hard to make a difference. It's hard to see the difference that you make. So we've always liked it up here. Used to come up here four-wheeling and everything else with the kids and everything. And I sold my company that I had in Phoenix, and my wife sold her company as well. And we moved up here, and we wanted to give back. And it's funny, one of the things that we've always wanted to do, we travel through the Midwest, and I would see these smaller towns with like an Ace Hardware store.
Okay.
And my dream was, you know what, that'd be neat to own like a little hardware store in a town where you can actually be part of the community, do parades, you know, and just get to know everybody, shake everyone's hand. And I just thought that was kind of a fantasy of mine.
I see you in the parades.
Yeah, absolutely. So I couldn't find an Ace Hardware up here for sale. And I didn't want to move too far away from my kids. They're all in Phoenix. And so when the Amco came up for sale, I realized, you know, that's pretty much the service industry. You're actually helping people out with their vehicles. And so we went ahead and just went for it. Moved up here, bought the Amco, and we had to kind of change the reputation a little bit, because who owned it before didn't do a great job with the community. They didn't live here. And we just started being involved with all the chambers, and I was involved with the Lions Club for about a year. And
The
we
Prescott
just,
Valley one.
The Prescott Valley one, correct.
Barney.
And we just got real aggressive in helping the town, and one thing led to another, and you know, we wanted to give back somehow, and that's where Wheels of Freedom Project was born.
So tell us a little bit about the Wheels of Freedom the history of the Wheels of Freedom Project.
Yeah, pretty much how it started was we were cleaning up the shop when we first got it, and we noticed that there were in the very back, it was about a 7,000 square foot facility that we have, and in the back there was an old wheelchair, and I started looking around and thinking it was junk, and we were going to actually take it to the dump, and had my guys clean it up a little bit, and I got the serial number off it, and I put it into Google. And it turns out that wheelchair was probably between $5,000 and $7,000 wheelchair.
Wow.
It was an electric power chair. So I thought, well, I don't want to throw that away. So we went ahead and put new batteries in it, new tires on it, had it reupholstered, went all through it, made sure it was working properly, and then I decided I wanted to donate it to maybe a veteran who was possibly fell through the cracks through the VA, or somehow was not qualified for a power chair. So the search was on, basically. And we finally found a veteran who kind of met those qualifications. He was an older veteran who had some issues. And the VA actually gave him a manual chair that he had to push. He was having a hard time getting around. And his wife was very small, very petite, and she couldn't push him around in this chair. So pretty much the only time he ever got out of the house was to go to doctor's appointments, and he was very depressed. So we convinced his wife to bring him in, to put him in this chair, and it was interesting. When he first came in, he was just kind of mumbling. I mean, he didn't look up. He was just grumpy. He was not happy. He didn't even want to be there. And so we get him into the chair, showed him how it works. He takes off down the parking lot, and his head that was always down and kind of depressed, it went up He zips away from us, turns around, he comes back, biggest smile on his face you've ever want to see, and tears just running down his eyes. He zips right up to us. I mean, it's like he's been doing it forever. And he just started kind of giggling and laughing and crying at the same time and saying that his life has been saved. And I had no idea what we were doing at that point. Like, wow, this is amazing.
Epiphany.
Yes. So went through all that, and then the next day I was driving into work, and the only thing I could think of is I got to find another chair.
Yeah.
I want to do this again. If he's out there, there's many more.
You want to convey that happiness again.
Yeah, so I went ahead and put together a quick, created a logo, and then...
Is it that one you have?
Yeah, this one right here, and then did a sort of Facebook account for Wheels of Freedom, and just sent it out, and it's amazing. I would say with the first couple hours, had 5,000 shares. It just went out. My phone started ringing immediately, and there's people all over Yavapai County that have wheelchairs in their garage or their back room or somewhere that they don't know what to do with. Either a loved one passed away, or they've received a newer wheelchair from their insurance company or someone, the VA, and they have an older one that they can't get rid of. So I started going around picking up wheelchairs, and it's just amazing how many really good wheelchairs there are up there. Power chairs, scooters, vehicle lifts. We do it all. And next thing you know, I have an inventory of chairs. Some I use for parts, and other ones are just ready to go. So we started reaching out to the VFW and through the VA and all these other veterans groups. I'd go and speak a little bit, and I've been on the radio a few times. Next thing you know, I have applications coming in left and right. So we started this in probably late 2015, early 2016, and we've probably given away close to $200,000 worth of chairs. It was amazing how many veterans need this program.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
Okay, so you get chairs from all over the place.
All over. I even go down to Phoenix, pick them up. We get calls sometimes from New York City saying, hey, we got a chair for you. So the word has gotten out. And obviously I can't go to New York to pick up a chair, and it costs too much to ship. But we are getting calls from everywhere, and we do get them in, and we get them out. And right now I actually have two veterans that will be receiving scooters on Monday. I'll be delivering them on Monday. How
do you find the veterans?
At this point,
they're finding you.
They're finding me. A lot of word of mouth, and also there are some really kind people at the VA that know about our program.
And they push
you. When they see that they're having difficulty getting through the red tape or whatever, and someone may be just on a waiting list, because a quick story. There was a gentleman who approached me last month who was young, about 37 years old or so. He did a tour in the Marines. He went over to Afghanistan, and he was in the motor pool, and he got hurt. I think something fell on him. It smashed his lower extremities.
Yeah.
He recovered from that and got out of the Marines, and they gave him a pretty clean bill of health, and he wanted to re-enlist. So he joined the Army, and he went back for another tour. He was fine, went through that, got home, everything was fine. Then he started having difficulties with his knees and parts of his legs, because once you get smashed, it's hard to recover from that.
Yeah.
He started developing some infections and stuff, and went to the VA. They ended up removing his right leg above the knee because of infections that got really bad. But because when he left the Marines, he had to sign some documents stating that he's healthy, and he agreed. He felt great. And then when he joined the Army, he had to agree that there was no pre-existing condition.
Yeah.
So now he's at a point where he's on crutches, and you have the Army and the Marines kind of fighting on who's going to pay for this chair. So they told him there'll probably be at least a year, maybe 2-year waiting list before he gets some type of mobility device.
Okay.
And he's a very active guy, but crutches just doesn't do it. He's had now difficulty with his left foot. They may have to remove his left foot. Right. So he called me and looked into it a little bit, filled out an application, and within 2 days we had the perfect chair for him for his height and weight. And it's a chair that actually elevates, can go up so he can actually cook with his kids, which that was one of his things that he wanted. He wanted to be able to get to the counter and cook with his kids and everything.
Yeah.
So we got him that chair, and I tell you what, that alone, that was just so amazing how, we changed a life, within a couple of days. And what happens when people are on these waiting lists, once they do get their chair, then they actually return the one that was on loan. Okay. And some people they are not on a waiting list. They're just not qualified.
What qualifies you?
What
qualifies you for a power chair versus a manual chair?
I think that's something that either the VA or an insurance company would have to answer. It's complicated. There's a lot of red tape. Some people qualify right away, but if you served, I'm not really sure the particulars of how you served and where you served and when you served, but somehow that has something to do with the benefits package that you get when you get out of the armed services.
Okay.
And so some people don't know. Now
I was talking to somebody about that kind of thing the other day. 50% versus 60%.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of parameters. Now we only provide mobility devices to veterans, veteran spouses, or veteran families. Okay, we take care of their spouses as well. I had a gentleman, a veteran, who was in very good shape, older but great shape. His wife was in good shape, but then she became incapacitated. They're on fixed income. They don't have real good insurance. So again, they were going to put the wife in a manual chair. Well, she didn't want to go anywhere. And now you have a veteran who served at home with his wife, he wants to be with his wife, stuck at home with her and could not get out. Yeah. So he contacted me. We got her a chair and a lift for their car.
That's great.
And they're out again together as a couple.
That's wonderful.
And it was amazing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. You got a lot of good stories.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Okay, so how do you receive monetary and wheelchair? Well, we already talked about the wheelchair donations, but how do you receive monetary donations?
Basically, it's my whole life, I'm not real good about asking for money. And it's so funny is I have
so many people that tell me that.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. There are some people that have programs. We're a 501c3, and some people are just really good at it.
Yeah.
And I'm just not. But programs like this help, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
We on our website, which is wheelsofreedomproject.org, on that website there is a big green button that says donate. And you could either do a one-time donation, or it's set up where you could do just monthly of $10 a month or $20 a month or whatever you want. And it just makes it real simple, PayPal, credit card, and all that stuff. And that helps a lot. We have other foundations that actually help out. In fact, Yavapai Casino, they actually donate to our cause, and other groups. What's funny is, since I have the AMCO, we have a lot of fleet customers, and they hear about us, and they're a corporation, and they love to help out.
Absolutely.
So we get donations
especially
from them.
Veterans. It's a good PR for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just a few weeks ago, Boy Scouts of America actually invited us to Phoenix for they had an annual dinner, and they actually they gave us a $1,000 donation.
That's
in one of those big checks that you see,
yeah.
which is kind of funny.
We have a big check too.
Yeah. So that was good, and then and we every year we have an event. I know you're going to mention that is up in Crown King.
Okay.
We do our annual. It's a horseshoe tournament. It's the Crown King annual charity horseshoe tournament, which supports Wheels of Freedom Project. It's usually in October, and we start advertising that on our Facebook, the Wheels of Freedom Facebook, or our webpage. Usually, probably in late July, August, we'll lock in the date. But it's a perfect time for Crown King. The weather's great. They have bunches of cabins up there.
Yeah.
And they built some really nice horseshoe pits for us. It's all just beautiful grass. I mean, they're professional horseshoe pits.
Who built them for you?
Up there, it was Bradshaw. I think it's called Bradshaw Mountain Resorts.
Okay.
Which is up there, they own a bunch of cabins. If you go to crownking.com, that is her website, and she owns the crownking.com website, and she has all of her stuff listed and probably pictures of past tournaments.
People to help out
oh yeah,
nonprofits.
yeah, she does really well. We get a a beer license, so
Yeah,
we provide
I know
beer
about that.
and food and everything else. And people come up, they stay the weekend, and it's just a great time.
All right. Nice little tournament, huh?
Oh, it is. It is a
A
really
lot of
good
people
tournament.
come, right?
Yeah, they do. Last year we had about 50 people, and which is difficult for Crown King. Crown King's not easy to get to. It's worth the drive. I've been going up there for 20 years,
Okay.
and in fact I'm going up there Saturday.
All right.
And in fact my daughter is going to meet me up there on Saturday. She's going to come in from Phoenix, and
Nice.
we're going to go up there. And she's been going there ever since she was about 6 months old. So she absolutely loves Crown King.
I got to go there. I haven't
should.
been there yet. Okay, so what are the results of your efforts?
Good. Like I said, we've donated a lot of wheelchairs. One of these days, I actually have to keep track of that. The quantity.
You don't do any financials or anything?
I have all the paperwork, and we're a 501c3, so it's pretty simple on that side.
Yeah.
And we do pretty much everything on our own. It's just me and my wife, basically.
Yeah.
And
That's what a lot of nonprofits.
yeah,
Mom and pop.
I work on all the wheelchairs myself. Unless I need some help, then I'll pull one of my guys off a vehicle or something and get some help. But I do all that myself. And like I said, we're not a huge organization or anything. We're definitely just local, and we just do everything that we can. And I probably spend 1.5 days a week, working on the program.
Okay.
It's usually driving. It's usually picking up or delivering wheelchairs.
Okay.
And working on it. But no, it's definitely been successful, not in a monetary way at all. Mm-hmm. AMCO actually donates the majority of the money.
Okay.
To keep it running.
It's terrific.
And but it's been a blessing for me. The first couple years of starting a new business is always a struggle.
Absolutely.
And not just financially, but it just emotionally it will just drain you. And sometimes you have just rough days, and you're like, oh my God, so much money's going out, not enough money coming in, so all that. So starting that program really.
I had a rough day yesterday. I had to call the IRS for 4 different clients.
Oh, jeez.
That was my rough day.
Yeah.
So keep going.
But pretty much, I would suggest anybody out there who's has an interest in being involved in a charitable organization, just do it, because it just helps your daily life. When you're, like I said, when you're struggling and having a hard time, what I would do is I have another computer, I got my AMCO computer there, and I turn around and I just start working on Wheels of Freedom stuff. I start going on the Facebook and posting some pictures of the last event or a wheelchair I just delivered, or just do a promotion thing and make some phone calls. Next thing I know, or go work on a wheelchair, go put new tires on a wheelchair. That just completely changes my whole thought process.
Absolutely.
And I actually go home with a big smile on my face and wake up and can't wait to go back to work the next day. So
terrific.
Yeah, just doing charity stuff. And I know there's a lot of people out here that do that, but
yeah, there's a lot of charities around here.
there are a lot of charities.
There's a lot of need for it too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially, you're directly helping veterans and helping them out.
Absolutely.
A great deal.
And I also want to say that U.S. Vets, they've been very, very helpful on getting the word out.
It's a good organization.
They're really, really good. And one of the sad things about used wheelchairs, and this question always comes up, is you could be I'll say a veteran, and let's say you have a wheelchair you got through the VA, and they're ready to give you a brand new one, a $15,000, $20,000 wheelchair possibly. You get that chair, and let's say you pass away 2 weeks later, and that has happened, okay? Well, then the spouse or whatever, they try to return the chair to the VA. Unfortunately, it's not the VA's fault, but they can't take it back because it's a medical device. So they can't resell it or re-gift it because of insurance reasons and liability and everything else. So sometimes those chairs just go dormant and they just sit somewhere. And that's what's so good about a program like this, is we're able to come in and swoop that up.
That's great.
And get it to someone who actually needs it. High quality
chair that's just really new.
Mm-hmm.
And not been used much. And
what we do also is we work with Paralyzed Veterans of America, or Paralyzed Veterans of Arizona, I should say, in Phoenix, where we do a lot of horse trading, because sometimes I will end up with these very, very, very expensive chairs for like a quadriplegic person or whatever. And most of my clients are not in that in that situation.
Yeah.
But I'll have
They're
these
somewhat
chairs that are
by
seriously
themselves.
upwards of $30,000, and they do everything. But it's not the type of chair that you want to take around in the dirt and jump curbs with or whatever. This is a very, very expensive chair. So what I'll do is I'll make arrangements to take those chairs up to Phoenix, or down to Phoenix, sorry, and we'll trade, because he'll end up with some other chairs that are more off-road or better for the dirt and dust and stuff that we have here. So we'll trade chairs back and forth, because he needs those chairs.
It's very smart.
Yeah, and they've been real good to us also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great group.
So great relationships with all those groups.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just getting the word out.
Okay, so tell us how you can donate to Wheels of Freedom Project.
Okay.
Or tell us another story first, and then we'll ask that question.
Oh, okay. Gosh, there's so many stories. Yeah, this is interesting. I want to get the word out for scooters. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is part of a story. We do get a lot of wheelchair donations, which are needed. It's amazing how many veterans who I work with, but older veterans, I mean ones that are like in their 90s, 95, 96, who refuse to be put in a wheelchair because mentally they just think that's
weak.
They're not done. They don't want to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
They want a scooter, because a scooter is more like a motorcycle. And they want a scooter. And it's amazing how many of our clients, that's all they want. And a lot of times I'll have to put them in a wheelchair temporarily until a scooter becomes available.
Yeah.
The problem is scooters rarely come available. They're very, very difficult.
Are there a lot of scooters?
They're
not compared to wheelchairs, right?
No, there's more wheelchairs than there are scooters out there, and for some reason they, like I said, I have a hard time getting my hands on them, especially a 4-wheel scooter. There's some 3-wheel scooters which are a little sketchy, especially if you're older and you're having a little, hard time, with your reactions. So 4-wheel scooters are just something I really, really need bad. If anybody has any or seen one, please give me a call. But
4-wheel scooters.
Absolutely.
So tell us, how do you donate?
Well, real quick, the gentleman, he was 95 years old, and he refused to be in a wheelchair, and it took me a while, but we ended up getting him a 4-wheel scooter. And every day he would go out to his barn, and he would do his thing. He'd do woodworking and stuff, and never stop. He'd go around his property. They had horses, and he had to have a 4-wheel scooter and do that. And he was very adamant, very adamant. I mean, he was almost angry that he would not be in a wheelchair,
right.
which I really love that.
You need spunk.
Yes.
Spunk.
So, you could please donate to Wheels of Freedom Project. The price for batteries, tires, all of that, batteries especially, that's one of our biggest costs that we have. wheelsoffreedomproject.org, and just go on. There's a couple buttons on the website. That's pretty easy to get. And then also you can just give us a call, 928-759-5588. We'll probably answer the phone AMCO, but everyone at AMCO knows about Wheels of Freedom Project, and I run that obviously out of my office there, and that's where I work on all the wheelchairs and store them and everything else.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Everybody, I want to thank Emma and Linda and Rob and Jim at the Prescott Media Center for helping us run this. And also come to our Lions Club, Prescott Sunrise Lions. We meet at Waffles and More every Thursday at 7 a.m. And we were a great bunch of guys and women that really enjoy being together and really know our place in this community, which is we serve. And I also want to thank Gary Denton for being here of AMCO, as well as the Wheels of Freedom Project. It's real important that you contribute to this Wheels of Freedom Project. It really helps veterans, and that's really important. Thank you very much.